Welcome to Pre, motherfuckers. Hey, how's it going? If you guys don't know what Pre is called Patty Reviews Everything, where I just sit down, I talk to the camera, I want to review stuff that I want to talk about, normally with like real-time events and shit like that. But today's gonna be more of a lighthearted episode because I will talk about more serious shit next week, because it's still gonna be relevant next week anyways. So I want to review the new album by Parkway Drive, Reverence. The reason why I want to review this is Parkway Drive is one of my favorite bands. It's one of the most influential bands that I've listened to in a long time for like the type of music that I'm into, the type of music I want to play, and etc. Also, on my first episode of Pre, which was a month and a half, almost 2 months ago, I reviewed one of the songs on that first episode, and I said that I wanted to maybe sit down and review every song and have like a full album review, and the album came out technically yesterday. May the 4th be with you. So I protect my fucking virginity. And so I'm just gonna be doing that. I'm gonna be giving my thoughts, what I think about the album, what I like about it, what I dislike about it, and overall like where the direction they're going. When I try to listen to each album, I try to listen to an album as a different entity. I don't try to compare it to previous works that they've done, even though I do at the same time. It's a very weird line to draw because obviously you want them to be how you remembered them as, but obviously as an artist you evolve, you grow, you mature, and unfortunately not unfortunately, but the band has matured over the past 2 albums, and I'm gonna try my hardest not to compare and contrast them, but obviously I'm gonna be maybe doing slight references. So anyways, on to the fucking review. The first track, being called Wishing Wells off of the album, starts off very aggressive. It's probably one of my favorite songs off the entire album. It's great. I enjoy covering it. I like to do the screaming vocals of it. I think it's very aggressive. It reminds me of God of War. The breakdown on it is great. Towards the end, when he says like "face me, none survive," I think it's very impactful, which I think is a theme that this album has pretty consistently. Is when he screams shit, it's pretty impactful. It's it has a lot more oomph that compared to what it used to. Not as in like he didn't scream hard back then, because obviously he did. He screamed a lot more back then. It's just this one, I think it's more, I don't know if the way it was mixed or if the way he's more redefined on his voice. It's just when he says things, it has more of a impact on it, which I enjoyed. Obviously it feels more aggressive. It makes me want to fucking punch someone in the face. It makes me want to move around, you know. And I enjoyed it. I think Wishing Wells is a very good song. It starts off kind of slow with this weird monologue, but I'm okay with it because it just kind of has the tone for it. But this is like one of my issues with this album though, is this album has a weird consistency to start off very slow with like a very slow intro, a very slow build up, but then like the last like minute or so of the song is like full octane. And I get like you can treat the song kind of like a movie or another form of art, where you know you have your starting, you have like the catalyst, you have like the build up, the climax, and the resolution. And I think a lot of the songs are composed that way, as in like a story, which is fine, because I enjoy albums that have, you know, not just like lyrics that like, oh, my ex-girlfriend broke up with me, da da da, or like, you know, we're destroying this world, da 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 da, you know, like stuff like that. I'm okay with like story-based songs. I'm okay with like being like self-aware of the planet, which Parkway Drive's been kind of on that way for the past 3 albums, I'd say. It's just, it has a weird progression, because like you get done with a song that was just fucking jamming at the end, and then the next song is very slow with the build-up again. So you go like 3 3 3 9 3 3 3 3, you know, like it's a weird pacing. Not saying I'm not into slow songs. It's just, it's weird that like almost every song on this album does that. When I'm, you know, not, like I said, I don't want to compare it to old Parkway Drive, but Parkway Drive back in the day, like their Horizons album or their Killing with a Smile, it'll start out fucking guns blazing, and it doesn't stop. It doesn't slow down with the tempo. it's how do I describe this? Like I want to explain that I still think this is a solid album, so don't take this as an I don't enjoy this album. I've listened to the album front to back on multiple occasions because I've enjoyed it, not just because I wanted to make this review, but I still enjoy the album nonetheless. This album is kind of like an old basketball player, if that makes sense. So like the first couple albums, those are like rookies and shit, so they can just come out on the field, on the court and go crazy. As for an older guy, it kind of takes a minute for like his knees to warm up and him to kind of get into his groove, you know? And that's what I feel like this whole album is. It's like it needs a startup. Like it's like dial up on this album. It takes a second to build up, and then when it gets going, it's fucking great. But like sometimes the build up for it is kind of meh. Not every beginning is bad. I don't think that. I think there are a couple songs where the build up, like I said, is necessary. I think it fits. Like I said, Wishing Wells is fine. I Hope You Rot is another intro that kind of takes a little bit. Shadowboxing's another one. Absolute Power is another song that's kind of slow in the beginning, and I think they're fine just because I think the progression is not as long, or it just flows a lot nicer, I guess. That is one thing that this album does have, is it has good fluidity. One thing that I like between like songs and albums is I like when songs transfer into other songs. Parkway Drive has done it before, other bands have done it before. Like for example, Parkway Drive did it off their Outless album, from going from Wild Eyes to Dark Days with like the ding. And I like when songs do that because I'm the kind of guy that likes to listen to an album by the way it's made. I know a lot of people will sometimes just shuffle an album, kind of like listen to it. And I think when it comes to metal, you don't really do that. Like you could do that with hip hop and stuff, and like maybe some rap albums, just because like they just consist of singles. Like that's what that whole like basis of hip hop really is just singles after singles that have like no progression or any like sort of picking up from what was previously there. But a lot of metal albums tend to like flow pretty well. It's pretty much like a story from point A to point B, and I like to know when songs have solid progressions, very fluid progressions to the song, and I think this album does pretty well at it. And I even like it when the album is on repeat and the last song can kind of mix with the first song. Like an example would be The Idols Murder's last album, which was Dear Desolation. The last song, when it ends, it's this huge build up, and then the starting of the beginning chugs of the first song flow very nicely, in my opinion. This album also has the same thing. It kind of ends with like this weird like eerie crow effect, and then it starts off with Wishing Wells with the eeriness and the crows kind of coming back in. So I thought they probably did that on purpose, which it's a good nod. Like I enjoyed that. I don't know. I wouldn't even know if I would consider this a metalcore album anymore. I don't really know what subgenre of metal would fall, but it's definitely one of their lighter albums, which is okay, just because like they still do it well enough. Like I said, I still enjoy this album, and I was getting that vibe that they were going to after Ire, just because the Ire Deluxe Edition, like none of the songs that were added to the Deluxe Edition were anything really hard. So I figured that was kind of like an insight of, hey, what this next album's gonna be. Not saying that there isn't hard parts in this, like I Hope You Rot's chorus I think is fucking beautifully made. Straight down. I see their wings are burning. Obviously Wishing Wells is a very aggressive song. Absolute Power, when he's saying stuff, is very impactful as well. Like there's moments on this album that make me really appreciate the album, but it just kind of leaves me wanting more of that on the album. And like I said, that's me kind of comparing, contrasting what their older shit was. But like, can you really blame me that I've had 4 super solid albums? Killing with the Smile, Horizons, Deep Blue, and Atlas. All very aggressive, very well made, all a little different in their own. And then Ire, which was kind of like that in between, like they were still aggressive songs on there. But this one, it just kind of, like, I'm open to them trying new things because I support them. But at the same time, I kind of do miss what they used to make, because not because what they make now isn't good, it's just I believe what they made was better. And like the quality of this album is obviously better. Like whoever mixed this album is obviously a better mixer. Whoever mixed Killing with a Smile back in 2006. But I mean, technology and stuff is, you know, a crutch at that point. Like, would I recommend this album to people? Yes. If you're a Parkway Drive fan, would I still say listen to this album? Yes. I still think it's a well-made album. My only downside with this album as well is the last song. It's more of just like a monologue of him talking, and it's kind of a throwaway. Like, I'm okay with like slow monologue style songs, like Writings on the Wall is another like kind of like him just kind of talking aggressively, and I love that song off Ire. I love that song. I scream that shit all the time in my car. He does that thing as well a lot more in this album. It's this weird like kind of half scream, like he's like kind of talking, but he kind of throws a little bit of rasp when he's kind of doing it, you know. He'll just be like, yeah, you want to blah blah blah. Like, it's not really a real scream, but it's not him talking either. It's like this kind of like half really hearted, you know. I don't know if he's doing that just to maintain his voice just because he's been doing it for so long, or it's just because like that's just like, I don't want to say I think they're getting old, but like this album just kind of tells me that like, hey, like this is it, like this is your last hurrah, like kind of wrap it up, 6 albums. And I mean, like, you made 6 albums. That's phenomenal. Not a lot of bands can do that, especially in the metal age, because like the demand of it isn't that great. But obviously they were the metalcore gods when metal was like in, like, you know, that 2006 to 2012, 14 era. Like that was like prime time metal. Especially for a lot of people my age, because we were in high school and shit, and that was like the wave, the scene, you know. For me, obviously, I stayed around because, you know, it's not a fucking phase, mom. Like, I still love this band. I still think this album is solid. It could have been improved a lot more, but like I said, the moments where it's pumping, it's very beautiful to listen to. Like, I was completely blown away from I Hope He Rots chorus. That really fucking got me. And even the softer songs, like I'll sing The Void. I think The Void is a very catchy song, and it's still like not heavy, but it's still like the riffs and the tempo and everything kind of keep it going. It's a more slower paced album than their other albums, but it's still fast enough to kind of like get you moving still. There's so many, it's like I'm very mixed on this album. Like, I enjoy it. Will I listen to it still? Yes. But I still prefer what they used to be, and I don't want to come off as a hater, as in like, oh, I don't like Parkway Drive. Like, this is just me coming just from a fan of them for a very long time, and just me accepting that they're evolving and growing. But at the same time, you know, obviously I'm gonna mourn for what they did have. Or was that even a fucking sentence? I'm gonna mourn for what they had, and I'm still gonna support them. If they still come to Vegas, like, I'm still down to go see them, just because they've put on an amazing fucking show every time. If you get tired of doing metalcore and stuff, that's fine, especially when you do it as long as they have. You know, if you get tired of playing the same stuff, I get it. You know, not every band can be like August fucking Burns Red, where they're literally just, you know what you're getting out of them, you know? Overall, to summarize what I'm trying to get at is, it's a solid album. I enjoyed it. I think it's worth the money of owning it. I think it's worth, especially if you're a Parkway Drive fan, to listen to it. At least give it a shot, because like I said, the moments where it picks up and it's kicking, it's definitely very well made. It's very well thought out. There's a lot of emotion that goes in this album. It's just, my thing is the tempo is a little weird to kind of get into, and every song needs to take a moment to start up, which is kind of weird. But you know, it is what it is. You know, that's how they compose their songs this album. I don't know if that was the overall theme that they were going for, but overall, if I could give this album on a scale of 1 to 10, if I could rank all their older albums, they're all like 8s and 9s. That's ultimately what they are. They're all fucking very well made. I don't want to give like crazy numbers. I'm just like throwing these off the top of my head. They're all above 8, all their albums. And then Ire is like a 7.5. And then I would say this album's, I give it a same 7.5. It's a solid album. I do enjoy it. It's just they're not like the 9s that they were busting out beforehand, you know. But I mean, that's just kind of how it is over time. Not a lot of bands could keep it up with. Not a lot of bands can keep that high level of consistency over a decade, you know. So it's a solid album. I'd say check it out. And that's pretty much all I want to talk about for pre. Like I said, next week will be a more serious topic or like situation I want to talk about, just because it's still gonna be relevant next week anyway. So that's why I felt like I could kind of use this one to talk about what I want to talk about, is with my opinion on the new Parkway Drive album. If you guys listen to it, what do you think? If you want to talk about what you thought about the album, definitely comment down below. I'd like to hear what your guys' thoughts are, to see if maybe I'm not the only one who thinks it, or maybe I'm just fucking crazy or something, or just a hater, or I loved it a little too much. I don't know. I want to hear what you guys think about it. Talk about it down in the description down below, or the comment section down below. Do I even know how to fucking YouTube at this point? Holy shit. Definitely check out all my other videos, such as Pokeballers, my Pokemon Y randomizer if you're into that, my Twitter, my Twitch, my merchandise also if you want to support the boy on another level. I'd appreciate it. And I will catch you guys in the next episode or the next video that'll be featured on this channel. With that being said, I'm gonna get the fuck out of here. You guys know me as PattyTrills. I'm out. Yoga. Stay metal, my friends.